March 1943, Mid-Atlantic. Convoy HX-229, 40 merchant ships, 6 escorts, U-boat wolfpack detected convoy at dawn. Flower-class corvettes increased to maximum speed, 16 knots. U-boats on surface made 17 knots. Corvettes could not catch submarines running on diesel engines. Escorts watched U-boats shadow convoy beyond weapons range. Helpless, slow. April 1943, same ocean. Convoy ONS-5, 43 merchant ships, 7 escorts, including new river-class frigates. U-boat wolfpack detected convoy. Frigates increased to 20 knots. U-boats made 17 knots maximum. Frigates closed range. U-boats forced to dive. Submerged speed, 7 knots. Frigates maintained contact. Asdic tracked U-boats underwater. Depth charges dropped. Hedgehog fired. U-boats destroyed or driven off. Convoy proceeded. 13 U-boats attacked. 5 U-boats sunk. 39 merchant ships survived. Speed made difference. Admiralty calculated economics. Flower-class corvette cost £150,000. Maximum speed, 16 knots. Fleet destroyer cost £500,000, plus maximum speed, 35 knots. Convoy escort mission required 20 knots, maximum. Destroyers wasted 15 knots of expensive speed capability. Corvettes lacked 4 knots of necessary speed capability. Solution needed adequate speed at affordable cost. River-class frigate delivered exactly that. Cost, £250,000. Speed, 20 knots. Half the cost of destroyer. Same convoy escort effectiveness. Twice the speed of corvette. Better seakeeping than corvette. Purpose-built for North Atlantic convoy protection. Economics 1, Battle of Atlantic. 1941, Battle of Atlantic crisis year. U-boats sank merchant tonnage faster than shipyards replaced losses. March 1941, 537,000 tons sunk. April, 688,000 tons. Convoy system worked when escorts numerous enough to protect entire convoy perimeter. System failed when escort numbers inadequate. Britain built corvettes rapidly. Flower-class production exceeded 100 vessels by early 1941. But corvettes too slow to catch surfaced U-boats. U-boat tactics evolved. Admiral Donitz ordered wolfpack attacks. Multiple U-boats concentrated against single convoy. Shadowing U-boat maintained contact on surface beyond escort range. Additional U-boats converged on convoy position. Night surface attack using superior surface speed to penetrate escort screen. Corvettes detected U-boats but could not catch them. 16-knot maximum versus 17-knot U-boat surface speed. 1 knot difference meant U-boats chose engagement range. Escorts reacted, U-boats dictated. Fleet destroyers could catch U-boats. 35-knot speed overwhelmed U-boat surface capability. But fleet destroyers cost £500,000 each. Construction time 30 to 36 months. Britain needed destroyers for fleet operations, capital ship screening, offensive sweeps. Diverting fleet destroyers to convoy escort wasted expensive capability. Destroyer built for engaging enemy surface forces, reduced to hunting submarines, like using thoroughbred racehorse to pull plow, capable but wasteful. Hunt-class emergency destroyers provided partial solution. Built in 12 months, cost £350,000, achieved 27 knots, adequate for convoy escort. But range limited to 2,000 miles. North Atlantic convoys required escorts capable of 7,000-mile endurance. Britain to Gibraltar to Britain, 4,000 miles round trip. Britain to Halifax to Britain, 6,000 miles round trip. Hunt class required refueling mid-ocean or operated only in coastal waters. North Atlantic demanded longer range. Admiralty specification for new convoy escort frigate emerged from operational experience. Required speed, 20 knots minimum to catch surfaced U-boats. Required range, 7,000 miles to cover Atlantic crossing without refueling. Required seakeeping, North Atlantic winter storms with 50-foot waves. Required armament, adequate guns for surface engagement, depth charges, and Hedgehog for anti-submarine warfare. Required cost, below £300,000 to enable mass production. Required build time, 18 months maximum to deliver numbers quickly. Design team analysed requirements systematically. 20 knot speed required twin-screw propulsion. Single screw like Flower-class limited speed and created vulnerability. One propeller damage meant mission kill. Twin screws provided redundancy and power. 2 shafts, 2 propeller sets, 5,500 the horsepower total. 20 knots achieved. Range requirement demanded fuel capacity. Oil bunkers sized for 7,200 nautical miles at 12 knots cruising speed. Atlantic crossing at economical speed. Adequate fuel reserve for high-speed pursuit when U-boat detected. Endurance exceeded Hunt class by factor of 3. Seakeeping required hull form optimization. Flower class based on whale catcher hull, adequate for coastal work but brutal in North Atlantic storms. Short length and high freeboard meant violent motion in heavy seas. Crew exhaustion, equipment damage, reduced combat effectiveness. River class adopted destroyer-type hull with longer waterline length and finer bow. Length 283 feet versus Flower 205 feet. Longer hull reduced pitching motion. Finer bow reduced slamming in head seas. Improved crew habitability meant better sustained performance. Armament matched mission. 2 4-inch guns forward and aft provided surface engagement capability against U-boats caught on surface. Not powerful enough to engage destroyers or cruisers, but adequate for submarine deck guns. Depth charge rails and throwers provided conventional anti-submarine armament. Later vessels fitted with Hedgehog forward-throwing mortar. Hedgehog 24 projectile spread achieved 30% kill rate versus depth charge 6% kill rate. Technology improvement multiplied combat effectiveness during production run. Fire control simple compared to fleet destroyers. Open gun mountings without powered traverse or elevation. Manual operation reduced cost and complexity. Adequate for engaging submarines, no need for fleet action fire control computers. Asdic Type 127 provided submarine detection. Radar Type 271 fitted when available. Electronic fit adequate for convoy escort mission without fleet destroyer sophistication. Construction embraced simplified techniques. Prefabricated sections where possible. Standardized equipment across all vessels. No custom fittings. No special variations. Production line philosophy. Multiple shipyards building to identical plans. Smith's Dock Company, Caledon Shipbuilding, Fleming and Ferguson, Hall Russell, William Simons, all major and minor British yards received contracts. Canadian shipyards built additional vessels. American Lend-Lease program built Colony class identical to River class. First of class HMS Rother, laid down April 1941, commissioned July 1942. 15 months keel to commission, within specification, cost £248,000. Within budget, trials achieved 20.5 knots, exceeded specification. Range trials confirmed 7,000-mile endurance. Met requirement. Seakeeping trials in January North Atlantic validated superior performance over corvettes. Specification met completely. Production accelerated. Second group incorporated operational feedback, improved bridge layout for Atlantic conditions, modified depth charge arrangements, increased bunkerage on some vessels. Third group added Hedgehog as standard fit. 24 projectile mortar fitted forward. Fourth group modified machinery for tropical service, Indian Ocean deployment. All groups maintained common hull and propulsion to preserve cost advantages. By 1945, 151 River-class frigates commissioned. British build, 57 vessels. Canadian build, 70 vessels. American Lend-Lease Colony class, 24 vessels. Total production exceeded Flower class for final 2 war years. River became standard North Atlantic convoy escort, replacing earlier corvettes. If you're finding this cost-effectiveness analysis interesting, consider subscribing. It helps the channel and ensures you don't miss the next one. Operational deployment proved concept. HMS Exa escorted Convoy ONS-5, April to May 1943. 43 merchant ships, 7 escorts including Exa. U-boat wolfpack attacked, 15 submarines concentrated. Surface action developed, U-boats attempting to penetrate escort screen on surface at night. Exi radar detected U-boat at 4,000 yards. Increased speed to 20 knots. U-boat crash dived. Asdic gained contact. Exi attacked with depth charges. U-boat evaded first pattern, XE maintained contact, speed advantage prevented U-boat escaping. Second attack, depth charges set to 350 feet. Underwater explosion confirmed. Oil slick surfaced, U-boat destroyed. Kill verified post-war records, U-630 sunk by XE depth charge attack. Convoy ONS-5 demonstrated river-class advantages. 5 U-boats sunk by escorts during battle. XE, TE, both river-class, achieved 2 kills. Flower-class corvettes achieved 1 kill between 4 vessels. Speed enabled river-class to maintain contact during attacks. Corvettes lost contact when U-boats maneuvered at depth. 20-knot surface speed meant river-class controlled engagement geometry. 16-knot corvette speed meant U-boats controlled geometry. Tactical advantage translated to kill rate advantage. Statistical analysis revealed cost-effectiveness. 151 river-class frigates achieved approximately 80 confirmed U-boat kills during war. Kill rate 0.53 U-boats per frigate. 67 surviving Hunt-class destroyers achieved approximately 40 confirmed kills. Kill rate 0.6 U-boats per destroyer. Similar effectiveness per hull. But river-class cost £250,000. Hunt-class cost £350,000. Cost per U-boat kill, river-class £470,000. Hunt-class £583,000. River-class 20% more cost-effective. Fleet destroyers achieved higher absolute kill numbers, but at extreme cost. J, K, N-class destroyers cost £400,000 each, achieved higher kill rates in direct engagements, but were primarily employed in fleet operations, not convoy escort. Allocating fleet destroyer to convoy escort duty wasted capability and misallocated expensive resource. River-class optimized for convoy escort specifically delivered superior return on investment. Comparison against Flower-class revealed performance improvement. Flower-class cost £150,000, achieved 16 knots, 2,300-mile range. River-class cost £250,000, achieved 20 knots, 7,200-mile range. Cost increase 67%. Speed increase 25%. Range increase 213%. Performance improvement exceeded cost increase. Economic efficiency validated. American destroyer escort program paralleled river-class concept. USS Evarts class, Buckley class, Cannon class, all optimized for convoy escort at reduced cost compared to fleet destroyers. American mass production delivered over 1,000 destroyer escorts by war end. American emphasis on rapid construction using Liberty ship techniques, welded hulls, prefabricated sections, assembly line methods. American destroyer escorts cost approximately $1 million, equivalent to £400,000. More expensive than River-class, but built faster. 6 to 9 month construction time versus River 18 months. British approach prioritized design optimization over production speed. River-class incorporated lessons from 3 years of convoy battles. Hull form refined for North Atlantic, specifically. Machinery balanced for endurance versus speed. Armament adequate without excess. American approach prioritized quantity, accepting less refined design for faster delivery. Both philosophies valid for different strategic contexts. Britain fought convoy war from 1939, needed refined solution. America entered 1941, needed rapid numbers. German convoy escort equivalent revealed different priorities. German F-class escort vessels displaced 740 tons, mounted 2 4.1-inch guns, achieved 28 knots. German emphasis on speed over endurance. Baltic and North Sea operations required speed, not Atlantic endurance. Mission-determined design. River-class optimized for protecting slow convoys over vast distances. German F-class optimized for engaging Soviet destroyers in confined waters. Neither superior universally, both appropriate for intended missions. Seakeeping advantage proved critical for sustained operations. North Atlantic winter storms tested every vessel. Flower-class corvettes in force-8 gales experienced extreme motion, crew exhaustion, equipment damage. River-class in identical conditions maintained better stability, reduced motion, preserved crew effectiveness. After 72 hours in storm, Flower-class crew combat capability degraded significantly. River-class crew remained effective. Sustained effectiveness multiplied strategic value beyond simple speed or armament comparisons. Range advantage enabled operational flexibility. Flower class required mid-ocean refueling for Atlantic crossing. Refueling at sea dangerous in North Atlantic conditions. U-boat attack during refueling could destroy both Escort and oiler. River class crossed Atlantic without refueling, eliminating vulnerability. Operational commanders could deploy River-class frigates to any Atlantic convoy route without logistics constraints. Flower-class deployment required careful fuel planning. Flexibility advantage multiplied River-class strategic contribution. Postwar Service validated design longevity. Many River-class frigates transferred to Allied navies. Royal Canadian Navy operated numerous vessels into 1950s. Royal Netherlands Navy received 8 vessels. Royal Norwegian Navy received 5 vessels. South African Navy received 3 vessels. Indian Navy received 4 vessels. If design was inadequate, foreign navies would have declined vessels. Transfer demand proved River-class met international standards for frigate capability. British Royal Navy retained some River-class into early 1950s, converted for various roles: anti-submarine frigates, training vessels, fishery protection. Design flexibility enabled role adaptation. Post-war economy forced defense cuts. River-class provided adequate capability at sustainable cost. More sophisticated frigates like Loch-class and Bay-class also served, but River-class remained backbone of frigate force during immediate post-war years. Disposal pattern revealed economics. Most River-class frigates scrapped 1950 to 1955. Service life approximately 10 to 13 years. Adequate for wartime emergency design. Compared to fleet destroyers, many serving 20 to 30 years. River-class was not built for longevity. Built for rapid deployment in crisis. Mission accomplished. Disposal appropriate once crisis ended. Strategic impact assessment required examining convoy statistics. Atlantic convoy losses peaked November 1942. 119 ships totaling 729,000 tons. River-class entered service in numbers during 1943. Convoy losses declined steadily. May 1943, 50 ships, 265,000 tons. June 1943, 18 ships, 95,000 tons. Correlation, not causation alone, but River-class contribution significant. Faster escorts closed tactical gap. Enabled aggressive U-boat hunting, protected convoys more effectively. Technology integration demonstrated design adaptability. Early River-class vessels lacked Hedgehog. Retrofitted during service. Radar initially absent. Fitted when available. Asdic improved throughout production. Type 127 replaced with Type 144 on later vessels. Design accommodated upgrades without major reconstruction. Modularity enabled progressive improvement. War-winning advantage, ships improved while building continued. Crew training requirements favored River-class over fleet destroyers. Simpler machinery meant shorter engineering training. Manual gun mounts meant less specialized gunnery training. Asdic operation similar to corvettes, enabling crew transfers. Britain faced constant manpower shortage. River-class required 140 crew versus fleet destroyer 180 plus. 22% fewer crew per escort. Manpower efficiency multiplied fleet strength. Maintenance demands revealed operational advantages. Twin screw arrangement provided redundancy. One shaft damaged, return to port on remaining shaft. Flower class single screw meant any propeller damage required tow. Mission kill avoided. Simplified machinery compared to fleet destroyers reduced maintenance intervals. Dockyard time decreased. Operational availability increased. More escorts at sea from same number of hulls. Innovation under pressure created lasting design principles. River-class established frigate as distinct warship category. Not destroyer, not corvette. Purpose-built convoy escort optimized for specific mission. Post-war frigate development followed River-class pattern. Adequate speed, good endurance, mission-specific armament, affordable cost. Leander-class frigates 1960s, Type 23 frigates 1980s, all descended from River-class philosophy. Optimize for mission, avoid over-engineering, deliver adequate capability at sustainable cost. Initial skepticism dissolved under operational results. Naval officers trained in fleet destroyer doctrine questioned 20-knot escorts, too slow for fleet operations, irrelevant criticism, convoy escort, not fleet operations. Critics wanted 30-knot capability. Convoys made 9 knots. 20 knots was 11 knots faster than protected force. Adequate. Arguments against adequate capability in favor of excessive capability proven wasteful. Economics determined outcome. Britain could build 3 River-class frigates for cost of 2 Hunt-class destroyers. Could build 2 River-class for cost of 1 fleet destroyer. Numbers mattered. 3 frigates escorted 3 convoys simultaneously. 1 destroyer escorted 1 convoy. Strategic flexibility tripled. Tactical coverage tripled. Cost-effectiveness overwhelming. Final accounting revealed truth. 151 built. 80 U-boat kills achieved. Cost £37.7 million total programme. Cost per U-boat kill £471,000. Compared to individual fleet destroyer achieving multiple kills but costing £500,000 each. River-class delivered equivalent anti-submarine effectiveness at half the unit cost. Mathematics decisive, critics wrong, advocates right. Adequate capability, rapidly delivered in large numbers, beat superior capability, slowly delivered in small numbers. River-class proved principle across 3 years of intensive combat operations. Convoy war won partially through River-class contribution, Atlantic secured, supply lines maintained, strategic victory achieved through economic efficiency. British naval excellence demonstrated through practical design optimization. River-class was not fastest escort, not most heavily armed escort, not most sophisticated escort, but was most cost-effective escort for mission actually required. Economics won wars. Efficient resource allocation won wars. River-class exemplified both principles. Legacy endured beyond scrapping. Frigate concept survived as standard warship type. Modern frigates trace lineage to River-class philosophy. Mission optimized rather than general purpose. Adequate capability rather than excessive capability. Affordable production rather than expensive perfection. Principles validated in Battle of Atlantic remained valid through Cold War and beyond. River-class frigate proved adequate beats, perfect when resources constrained. Did twice the work at half the cost. Exactly as promised. Strategic success validated design philosophy completely. British innovation under pressure delivered war-winning solution. Economics, engineering, operational effectiveness, all aligned. River-class represented naval architecture at its finest. Purpose-built, cost-effective, combat-proven. The frigate that won through efficiency.